everybody. I just came from one of our peer consultation groups and we had a really great discussion. And I said to them, I'm going to go record a Facebook Live right now because these are some reminders that all therapists need to be thinking about. So we first started by talking about maintaining boundaries as far as how many clients you see in a day, if extra people need to get into see you in a week, or if new clients are requesting services, how that can create insecurities for us. Because a lot of times we think, well, if I turn this person down and then I discharge a client, my income is going to go down, and will there be that next client coming along? Or if I take time off, then I need to see all the clients from that week the next week when I get back, because I'm losing income. And all of those things are really important decisions that as therapists who run small businesses, we don't really look at from a business perspective. So one of the things we talked about was a money mindset shift. And that means looking at how you are distributing your money so that you can have confidence in having a vacation, sick leave, things like that. One of the things that I've been doing, I'm working with Megan Hale on Profit First, and that's been hugely helpful for me. And with Profit First, you pay yourself first, basically, and then you put money into other accounts that get allocated to be used for things like business expenses, investment in your business, profit, charitable giving, your own paycheck. So one of the things that even before that I had started doing was I was giving myself a set paycheck. When I worked at a practice before, we got a percentage, and that felt a little stressful for me, because if there was, like, it was a shorter month, then sometimes one of the checks would be smaller, and the next check would come and it would be bigger, and so it would average out, but it just felt stressful for me. So what I did was I picked an amount of money that I feel comfortable that this is an amount of money that our family needs, that will benefit from. I'm going to pay that every 2 weeks, and then if there's leftover money in the account, I don't just transfer that to my family. So in the past, I would just say, oh, there's X amount of money in the account and I need to pay some bills, and I would just transfer that. And I was not using a business sense at all in the way I was managing that. So doing that, for one, was really helpful by setting that paycheck. Not everyone is comfortable with that. The Profit First model basically says pay yourself first, and then figure out how you need to bring that money in. So I determined a set amount of income I want for my family, and now I'm working backwards to figure out how to bring in that money. And there's a little bit of play there. And so I found that hugely helpful. So considering how you're paying yourself, and, do you need a savings account where you put X number of dollars every month? So if you have a sick day or you take a vacation, you can transfer that money into either your paycheck or your business account, and you're not so stressed, that you can say, hey, I've planned for this, and I can do this. I've also talked about that with our continuing educations. Instead of just trying to get those hours by finding whatever is free, it actually will be more enjoyable and more beneficial if you set aside money every month for a training that you want to do, that's really going to help you level up your clinical skills. And then you're going to know, like, okay, I saved for this training, this is the money I have, and you're not going to be stressed about spending that money. One of the other things we were talking about is just the way we set up our schedule. And I think most of us, when we went into our private practices, we were willing to see anyone, anytime, anywhere. We just needed people to come in the door. And really quickly we realized that is not a good idea. That's not working for us. And so I really suggest, if you haven't shifted to this yet, that you have a set work schedule, okay? And you need to remember that as a small business owner, you need admin time, okay? So making that schedule where I put in, these are when I see clients, this is when I have lunch, this is a space that I have admin time, spreading that out through the week. I used to all just push it off until Friday, but by spreading it out through the week, I actually come into my morning looking at my calendar, I see that admin time is there, and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do during that time. And by spacing it out that way, I found that I'd be resentful on Fridays. It's my admin day, I got to pay the bills, I got to do these things, I don't want to work on Fridays, and so I don't have to work on Fridays if I'm spreading it out through the week. The other things we need to continue to take a look at is mental health care is becoming more normalized with the pandemic. So we are going to continue, in my opinion, to continue to get this influx of people needing services. We can't continue to up our caseload every time that happens and still have a sustainable business. We also have to remember that we are also living in a pandemic, and so when we hit burnout, it's taking us longer to rebound. So we need to plan for that. We need to accept that the things that we've done in the past aren't necessarily going to be working anymore. So let's look at what are the days you want to work, what works for you and your energy level and your personality type. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? All those different things can inform how you set up your schedule. So some people will say, I want to work 2 days and do clients back to back and get it all done. And if that works for them, that's great. But another person might say, okay, I realistically can only see 4 clients in a day. So I'm going to see 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, and I have a chunk of time in the morning to sort of regenerate my energy, to get some lunch, to have a break. Someone else might say, I can only do 1 at a time. So I'm going to see a client, have a break, client, have a break, client. And so figuring out what works for you and sort of noticing at the end of a session and at the end of the day, how are you feeling? Is this schedule working for you? I think we all are going to have times that we need to squeeze in an extra client because they need to be seen. And that's okay. I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about the general scheduling. The other thing that I do is I allow my clients to self-schedule in Simple Practice. So I'm really careful about looking at my calendar. At the middle of this week, I'm already looking at next week and I'm seeing, do I have breaks in the day? Did I shift a lunch break somewhere because I needed to get a client in there, but then I didn't put the lunch break in somewhere else? Or have I set aside plenty of admin time? Do I have 2 clients in the morning and 2 clients in the afternoon, and I've got this giant chunk, and someone could come in and schedule at noon, and that's kind of disruptive. So I might block out a little bit in the morning so that if I'm seeing someone at 10 and 11, I'll see someone at 9 that day, or if I'm seeing them at 3 or 4, I'll see someone at 2, but I'm going to block out those other spaces so that I can have that longer break. For me, if I'm trying to see a client, throw in a load of laundry, see a client, walk the dog, that's more stressful for me than if I had a chunk of time either in the morning, in the middle of the day, or the afternoon where I can do those things. And I will tell you, after doing this for a period of time, that our clients are flexible. If you give them a choice, do you want this time, or this time, they're going to pick what's best for them. But if you look at what's best for you and give them choices, they're either going to take one of those times or not. And if they absolutely can't do those times, then you look at where can I compromise? How can I make this work? So I just want to encourage us to just be more mindful as we are running these small businesses, that our field is changing, our world is changing, our view of ourselves is changing as far as being small business owners, because I feel like that's coming to the forefront for a lot of people more now. As the demand gets bigger, people are realizing they do need to have more sustainable business practices in place. So I hope that was helpful. I feel like this is something I need to do once a quarter for myself, but to make sure that I'm reminding us of that, because we tend to get in there with the clients and we get busy doing the work and we forget about preparing and managing for some of these other things. So I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.